Welcome back everyone to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic for all Pokeland Legends English server players. How F2P players, also known as farmers, can optimize their power and keep up with the meta in the most effective way possible. As we all know, managing resources in this game is always a tough challenge, especially when events constantly change and there are just too many things that require investment. Alright, in this video, I'll get straight to the point and focus on detailed guidance on how to manage and use valuable resources like Poke Shards, Strike Cards, and Diamonds wisely. The goal is to help you invest in the right places so your main Pokemon can become truly powerful without needing to spend too much money. Now let's dive into the detailed analysis. We'll start with optimizing Books and Poke Shards, two resources that F2P players can earn the most, but also tend to use incorrectly in this game. First, I'll show you how to download the game. You'll need to download the X7 game app first. I've included the download link in the description and comments. Next, open the app and go to the My section to log in. Use your Gmail to sign in. X7 Game will send you a verification code. Just check your email, copy the code, and paste it back to complete the login process successfully. After logging in, go to Game, then Search, and type in Pokeland Legends to find the game. Once you see it, tap Get or Download to start downloading. Finally, install the game and you're ready to play. If you plan to play Pokeland Legends as an F2P player but still want to be strong enough to compete, the most important thing isn't spending money, it's knowing how to manage your resources wisely. In this world, every stone and every book page has value, and how you use them will determine how far you can go. The first two things you need to focus on are Books and Poke Shards. They may sound simple, but they're the foundation of your entire growth journey. During the first 2 months, focus on exchanging books for normal dispatch tickets. The reason is clear. This is the fastest way to gather enough Poke Shards, allowing you to summon the legendary duo Latios and Latios. This pair is not only powerful, but also easy to use, providing a solid foundation for your team right from the start. Once you have Latios and Latios, your goal should shift. At this point, you should focus on accumulating Strike Cards. The method remains the same. Continue exchanging books for dispatch tickets, then use Poke Shards to obtain Strike Cards. Ideally, you should aim for around 2,000 Poke Shards and 2,000 Strike Cards per month. That amount is enough to keep boosting your main Pokemon's stats consistently, ensuring your combat power keeps rising and you don't fall too far behind paying players. In addition, don't forget about the legendary Beast Trio, Entei, Suicune, and Raikou. All three are excellent Pokemon, and if you plan to play long-term, consider using books to exchange for Poke Shards of one of them, depending on your team's missing type or role. A timely choice can completely change your team's performance. Besides books and shards, diamonds, the premium resource, should be used with extreme caution. Don't overspend them carelessly. Save your diamonds for things that can't be achieved any other way. Your top priority should be joining Command Order events. These recurring events often offer exclusive rewards or massive amounts of resources. Missing just one could set you back an entire month. When you have enough diamonds, you should also consider drawing pulls. Around 30 to 50 times per event is a reasonable amount. This is the main way to obtain unique items such as skill passives, accessory chests, or soul gear. Items that are almost irreplaceable and can cause a huge spike in your power. In summary, the clear strategy is use books to accumulate strike cards for your main Pokemon and use diamonds for events and draws to get valuable items. Once you have a well-managed stockpile of resources, you'll be ready to build a team that's both cheap and powerful, and that's exactly what we'll talk about next. After understanding the strategy of accumulating Poke Shards and Strike Cards, many of you are probably wondering, which team should I build that's both strong and cost-efficient? This is where a bit of clever thinking comes into play when choosing your Pokemon. Below are some suggested teams made up of easily obtainable Pokemon that perform well without consuming too many Poke Shards. If you're in the early or mid-game phase and playing free-to-play, the 1K Poke Shard team is a very reasonable option. For example, the full steel team with Dialga, Jirachi, and Heatran, a cheap but solid trio that's easy to get and easy to max out with strike cards to boost stats. Alternatively, you can try the classic Steel Dragon team with Dialga or Palkia, combined with Latios and Latios. This duo frequently appears in dispatch events, making them quick to obtain, and they provide both strong support and consistent magic damage. Another interesting option is the Ghost Fighting team featuring Marshadow. It deals great damage and requires few shards, though you may need to invest a bit of diamonds to reset its passive skills for optimization. Once you've played longer and gathered a decent amount of resources, you can consider moving up to a 4K Poke Shard team to elevate your power level. Notably, the legendary flying duo Ho-Oh Fire Flying or Lugia Water Psychic are excellent choices. Although more expensive, their stats and abilities are far superior, helping your team rise to a whole new level. However, keep in mind that once you go for a 4K build, you'll need to focus almost all your strike cards on one Pokemon to get the best results. Lastly, don't forget this crucial lifesaver tip. Choose Pokemon with easily accessible passive skills. For example, Dialga, Steel Dragon. Thanks to its dual typing, it can activate multiple types of passives related to Steel, Dragon, or even Flying. Why does that matter? Because resetting passive skills in this game costs a ton of resources. Choosing the right Pokemon from the start will save you a mountain of Poke Shards and Diamonds later on. We've now gone through the key strategies that help F2P players build a strong foundation in Pokeland Legends. Um, let's wrap everything up by summarizing the most important points so you can easily apply them in your own gameplay. First, regarding Books and Poke Shards. In the early game, prioritize exchanging books for normal dispatch tickets to obtain the Latios and Latios duo, a great starting foundation for your team. After that, focus on converting your Poke Shards into strike cards and invest all of them into your main Pokemon. The ideal goal is to reach at least 2,000 Poke Shards per month to exchange for strike cards, an extremely valuable resource. As for diamonds, never spend them carelessly. Save them and only use them for two main purposes: participating in command order events and doing diamond draws to hunt for skill passives and other valuable items. Every single diamond counts, especially for F2P players. When it comes to team building, go for cost-effective yet efficient lineups. For example, the Dialga Jirachi Heatran combo only costs around 1k Poke Shards. Also, prioritize Pokemon with typings that make it easier to match passive skills, since that will save you a huge amount of resources on passive resets, which are very expensive if not planned carefully. Even with a solid strategy, I still want to remind you of one thing. Pokeland Legends is, after all, a game, and its main purpose is to have fun. If you're playing just to relax, then go ahead and pick the Pokemon you love. Don't force yourself to follow the meta too strictly. But if your goal is to climb the ranks and compete with other players, then stay consistent with the strategy of focusing your strike cards on a powerful main, like Dialga or one of the 4K Poke Shard Pokemon, to optimize your long-term power growth. And most importantly, patience is the key. Gathering Poke Shards, strike cards, or building a strong team won't happen overnight. Don't rush and don't get discouraged. With persistence and the right strategy, even F2P players can build an impressive account in their own way. These are all my honest experiences and advice for the Pokeland Legends farmer community. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Your support is the biggest motivation for me to keep creating more strategy guides, Pokemon reviews, and gameplay tips. See you all in the next video.